Ethan Cole adjusted the controls of his small exploration ship as it descended through the thick, colorful atmosphere of Aurora Prime. Outside the window, swirling clouds of pink and gold glimmered like liquid fire. He had studied this planet for months from afar, but nothing prepared him for the real view. It was breathtaking. Rivers of liquid crystal flowed like water, but reflected the light of Aurora Prime's twin suns in every direction. Giant trees with transparent leaves sparkled like diamonds in the soft glow. This was not just a planet. It was a living work of art. Ethan's mission was simple, or so he thought: study alien life, gather data, and return home. But as he descended toward the forest floor, a feeling of both excitement and nervousness took hold. Scientists on Earth had theorized about life here, but no human had ever set foot on Aurora Prime. He knew that one wrong move could mean disaster. The landing was rough. The ship shuddered as it touched the crystal-like soil. Small tremors spread from beneath him, shaking the landing gear. Ethan cursed under his breath but quickly regained control. "Okay, Cole," he whispered to himself. "First human on Aurora Prime, don't mess this up." He stepped out of the ship, breathing through the helmet of his protective suit. The air smelled faintly sweet, like fresh flowers and ozone mixed together. Strange glowing plants moved slightly as if breathing, and the ground shimmered beneath his boots. He felt a mix of awe and fear. He had explored deserts, mountains, and jungles on Earth, but this was entirely different. Ethan activated his scanner, sweeping the area for life forms. It immediately detected movement. Rapid, precise, intelligent movement. He froze. This was it. Real alien life. His heart raced. A sudden roar echoed through the trees. The ground shook beneath him. His scanner went wild. Ethan realized, too late, that he had triggered some kind of defense mechanism. Energy pulses shot through the forest, knocking over crystal trees and creating blinding flashes of light. The sky above twisted into violent colors, a storm forming in seconds. Ethan's first instinct was to retreat, but then he saw her, a figure trapped under a fallen crystal tree. She was unlike anything he had ever seen. Her skin glowed faintly, a soft blue light that pulsed with her heartbeat. Her hair flowed like liquid silver, and her eyes, wide with fear, reflected the storm around her. She struggled, but the weight of the tree pinned her down. "Hang on," Ethan shouted, running toward her despite the chaos. Sparks of energy arced through the air around him. His protective suit absorbed some of it, but the heat and force nearly knocked him off his feet. He reached the tree, bracing himself. The alien woman looked at him with wide, terrified eyes. She made a sound that was almost like a cry, but Ethan couldn't understand it. He didn't have time to analyze her language. He focused on lifting the tree. His muscles strained, sweat poured down his face inside the helmet, but he could not let her die. With one final effort, he shoved the tree just enough for her to slide free. She fell to the ground, gasping, glowing brighter with relief. Ethan stumbled back, catching his breath. He was scratched, bruised, and exhausted, but he couldn't stop looking at her. "You're brave," he said, voice shaking. "And beautiful." She blinked at him, her glowing eyes filling with tears. Then, almost shyly, she formed words in broken galactic common. "Thank you, human." Ethan's heart skipped a beat. Communication. Somehow, in the middle of chaos, she had understood him and responded. The storm raged around them. Ethan glanced at the scanner. It detected multiple energy pulses moving toward them, more of the planet's defense mechanisms. The ground vibrated like it might split open. "We need to move," he shouted. The alien woman nodded and got to her feet. She moved with an elegant, fluid grace that seemed almost magical. Ethan followed, guiding her through the broken forest, stepping carefully around jagged crystal shards and energy arcs. As they ran, Ethan tried to understand her. She did not look like the dangerous creatures some scientists had predicted. She seemed intelligent, aware, almost human in her emotions, but she was still entirely alien. Her glowing skin and hair, the way she moved, the way she seemed to sense the energy around her. It was all beyond anything humans had imagined. They reached a small clearing, and Ethan collapsed to his knees, exhausted. The alien woman approached him, tilting her head curiously. She reached out a hand, and a small pulse of calming light radiated from her palm. The storm around them slowed slightly, as if her presence alone had some influence over the environment. Ethan realized something incredible. She was not just surviving the storm. She could affect it. but he didn't have time to dwell on it. "We need to find shelter," he said, struggling to stand. She nodded, and then, amazingly, she gestured toward a path of crystals that seemed to shift and open as they approached. It was as if the planet itself was guiding them. Ethan had no idea if it was safe, but he had little choice. He followed her cautiously. They entered a cave-like structure formed entirely of translucent crystals. Inside, the light bent and shimmered, creating colors that Ethan didn't have names for. The storm outside faded into muffled echoes. For the first time, Ethan allowed himself to breathe normally. The alien woman looked at him again. "Iced Lyra," she said, forming the first word he could understand fully. He smiled. "Ethan," he replied, offering his hand. She touched it gently, her skin cool and glowing. The connection felt profound. Not just a simple handshake. Something deeper. Something beyond language. For a long moment, they just stared at each other. Ethan thought about the danger they had faced, about the storm, about the planet that seemed alive and aware. And then he realized something he had not expected. He trusted her. Somehow, despite the chaos, despite the unknown, he knew she was not a threat. Lyra tilted her head and pointed to his suit. Ethan understood. She was curious about him. Slowly, carefully, he activated the scanner again, showing her the readings. Her eyes widened as she saw the data, the energy readings, the life signs of the planet. She made a sound of wonder and repeated it, almost like laughter, a series of melodic tones that vibrated through the crystal walls. Ethan laughed softly, amazed. Not only had he survived his first encounter with alien life, but he had made a friend. Somehow in this vast, beautiful, dangerous world, he had connected with a being unlike any other. Outside, the storm still raged, but inside the crystal cave, there was peace. Ethan realized something important. This planet, this alien, and this moment, this was bigger than any mission. This was history. As he sat there talking in broken words and gestures with Lyra, he knew one thing for certain. He had just taken the first step into a story that would change not only his life, but possibly the future of humanity. And in the back of his mind, he could still hear her soft words glowing like light in the dark. "Thank you, human." Ethan smiled, his heart full of courage and hope. Whatever challenges awaited them on Aurora Prime, he was ready. Because humans were brave, and perhaps, just perhaps, Ethan woke inside the glowing crystal cave, the soft light reflecting off every surface in gentle waves. Outside, the storm had quieted, leaving only the distant hum of Aurora Prime's energy pulses. He stretched and rubbed his eyes, still in awe of the world around him. The cave was alive in its own strange way. The walls seemed to shift slightly, almost like they were breathing, adjusting to the presence of life inside. Lyra sat nearby, her luminous skin glowing softly as she observed him. Her silver hair floated slightly, as if moved by an unseen current. Ethan couldn't help but be fascinated. Humans had never encountered life like this. She was intelligent, graceful, and clearly aware of her surroundings. And yet, she was frightened too, in a way that made her more relatable. Ethan reached for his translator device, hoping it could help them communicate better. He had spent months preparing for first contact, but no simulation had been as unpredictable as this. He activated it and carefully spoke, "Lyra, can you understand me?" She tilted her head, emitting a series of soft tones that shifted in pitch. The device picked up the vibrations and translated them roughly. "Understanding. Slowly. Human," Ethan smiled. "Good, we can learn from each other. I promise I mean no harm." Lyra's glowing eyes softened. She moved closer and reached out to touch his arm. A wave of warmth pulsed through Ethan's body, almost like the cave itself responded to her touch. He felt calm, as if the tension of the storm and the danger outside had never existed. "I want to help," Ethan said, "but I need to understand you. Your world, your people." Lyra's head tilted again and she motioned for him to follow. Ethan hesitated for a moment but then stood, curiosity outweighing caution. She led him through a narrow passage deeper into the crystal cave. The walls glimmered with light that changed color as they moved, guiding their path. Ethan marveled at every detail. The crystalline formations were delicate yet strong, shimmering with life energy that seemed to pulse like a heartbeat. After a few minutes of walking, they reached a larger chamber. Ethan gasped. The space opened into a vast underground forest, glowing trees stretching upward with branches made of light. Strange creatures flitted among them, their translucent wings leaving trails of color in the air. It was unlike anything Ethan had imagined. Part forest, part city, part dream. Lyra stopped and gestured for Ethan to sit. "Your world is different," she said slowly, her words broken but understandable. "Yes," Ethan replied, "but I think we can learn from each other, maybe even help each other." She considered this. Then, with careful effort, she formed another word. "Help." "Yes." Ethan realized communication would be slow, but every word mattered. Every gesture mattered. Slowly, they began to understand each other. He showed her images of Earth on his device. Forests, oceans, cities, and people. Lyra's eyes widened as the images shifted. She made sounds of wonder and joy, which the translator converted into approximate words. "Beautiful." "Life, many colors," Ethan nodded. "Yes, and your world is beautiful too. I have never seen anything like it." Lyra tilted her head, a soft, glowing blush spreading across her cheeks. She was not used to praise from other beings. "You're brave," she said. "And the kind." Ethan smiled. "I'm just trying to survive. And to understand." They continued talking, slowly forming a vocabulary together. Ethan learned that Lyra's people had lived on Aurora Prime for thousands of years. Their civilization was deeply connected to the planet, drawing energy from the crystals and maintaining harmony with the natural world. But Ethan also learned that the planet could be dangerous. Certain areas were controlled by energy creatures that responded aggressively to unfamiliar life forms. As Ethan listened, he realized why the storm had attacked them. He had unknowingly entered a restricted zone, one that the planet itself defended fiercely. But rather than fear, he felt excitement. This was exploration at its truest form, and for the first time he felt not alone on an alien planet. Lyra led him deeper into the forest, showing him how the plants and animals interacted. Some trees emitted pulses of light that acted as signals. Small creatures with luminous wings hovered nearby. Curious but cautious, Ethan took careful notes, recording everything he could. Suddenly, Lyra stopped and raised her hand. Ethan froze. A large creature shimmering with energy approached. It looked like a cross between a wolf and a dragon, with translucent scales and glowing eyes. It stopped a few meters away, sniffing the air. Lyra stepped forward and emitted a calming light from her palm. The creature relaxed, turning its gaze toward her. Ethan's heart raced. He had seen predators before, but none like this. Yet he realized something important. Lyra's people had evolved to live with the dangers of Aurora Prime. They did not fight mindlessly. They communicated. They understood. They adapted. And humans could learn to do the same. He stepped forward slowly, careful not to startle the creature. "Hello," he said softly. The animal tilted its head, eyes glowing brighter, but it did not attack. Lyra smiled faintly. Ethan felt a surge of respect for her. She had saved him, yes, but now he saw that she was brave in a different way, fearless in her understanding of her world. The rest of the day passed in a mixture of exploration and learning. Ethan discovered that Lyra could manipulate the light of the crystals to create protective shields or to communicate over long distances. She demonstrated by sending a beam of light toward the cave entrance, which pulsed with words that Ethan could only partially understand. But the meaning was clear. "You are safe. Here." Ethan realized that this skill would be invaluable. If humans and Lyra's people ever needed to work together, she could bridge the gap between their worlds. But more than that, he felt a growing admiration for her. There was a strength in her courage, a beauty in her mind, and a kindness in her heart. By the time night fell, Aurora Prime glowed softly under the twin moons. Ethan and Lyra sat together near a small pool of liquid crystal. Ethan removed his helmet for the first time, letting the alien air wash over him. Lyra did the same, though she did not need it. They shared a quiet moment of connection, not needing words. Finally, Ethan spoke. "Lyra, do you think humans can live here someday?" She considered, then nodded slowly. "Yes, but must learn much. First," Ethan smiled, feeling a spark of hope. "We'll learn. I promise. And we'll protect your world too if you let us." Lyra tilted her head, then reached out her hand again. Ethan took it. Her skin was soft and warm, glowing faintly. The simple touch conveyed trust, friendship, and something deeper, an unspoken bond between two beings from completely different worlds. "Thank you." "Human," she whispered, her voice trembling slightly. Ethan smiled. "You're welcome, Lyra, and remember, you're brave and beautiful too." Lyra's glowing eyes widened, and for the first time Ethan saw a hint of tears. The light from her body pulsed gently, as if her emotions had taken physical form. It was a moment he would never forget, proof that courage and kindness could cross species, language, and even planets. That night, Ethan lay on the soft, glowing ground and looked up at the alien sky. He thought of Earth, his home, and of the vast galaxies. Ethan awoke to the soft hum of Aurora Prime's crystal forest. Lyra was already awake, her glowing form moving gracefully among the trees as if she were part of the forest itself. Today she had promised to show him her people's hidden city, a place humans had never seen before. Ethan's heart raced with excitement and nervousness. He had no idea what to expect, but he knew this was a rare opportunity. They walked together along a path of glowing crystals that shifted slightly under their feet. Ethan marveled at how the light seemed to respond to their presence, almost like the planet itself recognized him. Lyra occasionally touched a crystal, sending waves of light along the path that guided them deeper into the forest. Finally, they reached the edge of a vast clearing. Ethan stopped, eyes wide in awe. Before him lay the hidden city of Lyra's people, a breathtaking blend of nature and technology. Buildings rose like towers of translucent crystal, twisting toward the sky. Bridges of pure light connected the structures. The streets shimmered with energy, and strange winged creatures moved gracefully above as if patrolling the city. Lyra took his hand. "City is safe," she said softly. "All welcome." Ethan nodded, stepping carefully onto the crystalline ground. Every surface seemed to hum under his feet, a vibration that felt alive. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. Humans had built great cities on Earth, but none could match this harmony of life, energy, and beauty. They walked deeper into the city, where more of Lyra's people were visible. Some floated slightly above the ground, their glowing bodies pulsing in rhythm with the energy of the city. Others manipulated the crystals to create light bridges, shields, or messages. Ethan realized that these people were not only intelligent, they were deeply connected to the planet itself. Lyra led him to a central plaza where a large crystal structure rose like a palace. The building pulsed with a steady, calming light, and Ethan could feel its energy resonating in his chest. "This palace," leaders, Lyra explained. "They decide, protect all." Ethan nodded, understanding. He had expected alien life to be primitive or hostile, but this civilization was advanced, organized, and peaceful. He felt a growing sense of respect and a little fear. He was a visitor in a world far beyond human understanding. As they approached the palace, alarms suddenly blared. Ethan instinctively ducked, but the glow of the city remained calm. Lyra's eyes widened. She gestured urgently, pointing to a distant ridge where a dark, shifting mass moved rapidly. Ethan squinted and saw it. A group of energy beings, creatures composed of crackling light and dark shadows. They moved with speed and precision, their presence bending the air around them. Danger, Lyra said, her voice tense. "They feed energy. Must stop." Ethan realized immediately that these were the creatures responsible for the earlier storm. They were predators drawn to the energy of the city. If they reached the heart of the city, countless lives could be lost. He looked around. The city had defenses, but they were primarily shields and energy barriers. The creatures were intelligent. They would find ways around simple defenses. Ethan's mind raced. Humans had fought and survived against impossible odds before. Maybe he could help here too. He turned to Lyra. "Show me how your shields work." "I can help. Maybe make them stronger." Lyra nodded, her glowing form pulsing with hope. She led him to a series of crystal nodes, each connected to the city's protective energy grid. Ethan studied them carefully. They were like nothing he had ever seen, but he understood the principle. Channel energy in precise patterns to create barriers. He worked alongside Lyra, guiding her gestures and adjusting the flow of energy. Sparks of light danced around them, forming protective walls and traps. The energy beings approached faster, but Ethan could feel the shields responding to his adjustments. His hands moved with speed and precision, his mind thinking several steps ahead. The first creature reached the city gates. It lashed out with bolts of energy, but the shield held. Ethan cheered quietly, feeling a thrill of success. Lyra's eyes glowed brightly, admiration and relief mixing in her expression. "Human, clever, strong," she said. Ethan smiled. Not just me. We do this together. The battle intensified. More energy beings appeared, attacking from multiple directions. Ethan and Lyra worked in perfect coordination, raising barriers, redirecting energy flows, and creating safe zones for the city's inhabitants. Ethan marveled at how quickly Lyra adapted to his strategies, learning in real time and enhancing the shields with her own abilities. At one point, a creature broke through the outer barrier and surged toward the central plaza. Ethan acted instinctively. He grabbed a nearby crystal and focused his energy, creating a pulse strong enough to push the creature back. Lyra gasped, then quickly joined him, her light amplifying the effect. Together they sent the creature flying, its dark form dissolving into harmless sparks. The citizens of the city watched in awe. Humans had never been part of their world before, and here was one fighting alongside them, brave and resourceful. Ethan felt a surge of pride, not arrogance, but a deep, satisfying knowledge that humans could rise to any challenge. After what felt like hours, the energy beings retreated. The city was safe, but the threat had revealed something important. Aurora Prime's predators were intelligent, strategic, and dangerous. This was only the beginning. Ethan turned to Lyra, exhausted but exhilarated. We did it. The city is safe for now. Lyra's glowing eyes were full of emotion. She reached out, touching his arm. You, human. Amazing, brave. Beautiful, Ethan smiled. Her words warmed him more than any shield or defense could. They had shared danger, worked together, and survived. In that moment, he realized something profound. Bravery and beauty were not just physical traits, they were choices. They were the willingness to act, to protect, to care, even when the odds were against you. The citizens of the city slowly approached, their expressions a mix of curiosity and respect. They had never seen a human before, and here was one who had risked his life for them. Ethan felt a sense of connection that transcended language, culture, and species. One elder, taller than the others, approached Ethan. She glowed softly, her eyes reflecting centuries of wisdom. You, protector. Human, she said, her voice melodic and calm. Your courage. Rare, your heart. Strong. Ethan bowed slightly, feeling humbled. Thank you, he said. I just did what anyone would do. I think, the elder smiled faintly. Not all. Would you? Special. Lyra moved closer to Ethan, her hand resting gently on his arm. Her glow pulsed softly, a sign of gratitude and trust. You helped all of us, she said. I thank you. Ethan nodded, feeling a deep bond forming. He had come to study a planet and its life, but he had discovered something more. A connection, a friendship, and a sense of purpose that went beyond any mission or duty. As night fell on the hidden city, Aurora Prime's twin moons reflected off the crystal towers, bathing the streets in soft, radiant light. Ethan and Lyra walked together through the plaza, observing the citizens repairing the damage from the attack. Energy flowed like rivers along the streets, guided by the glowing hands of the inhabitants. The city had survived, stronger than before, and Ethan had played a part in that survival. Lyra paused at the edge of the plaza, looking up at him. You, human, brave, beautiful, she repeated, her words slow and deliberate, as if making sure he understood. Ethan smiled, feeling a warmth in his chest he had never experienced before. And you, Lyra, you're amazing too. Brave, clever, and strong. And beautiful, in every way that matters. Aurora Prime's twin suns rose slowly, casting warm light across the hidden city. Ethan awoke to the hum of energy flowing through the crystal towers. The city was peaceful for now, but he could sense a tension in the air. Lyra hovered nearby, her glow dimmer than usual. Something was wrong. They come, she said softly, her voice trembling slightly. Many, very many. Energy beings. Ethan's heart raced. He had seen their speed and intelligence yesterday, but he had hoped the attack was temporary. Apparently, he had underestimated the creatures. He stood quickly, scanning the horizon with his equipment. In the distance, he saw dark, shifting forms moving like storms toward the city. Their glowing bodies pulsed with energy, and even from afar, he could feel the power they carried. They're coming to the city, Ethan said, his voice calm but firm. We need to prepare. We can't let them get inside. Lyra nodded. Yes, must defend. No. Ethan moved quickly through the plaza, issuing instructions to the citizens. They responded with efficiency and precision, using their crystal technology to raise barriers, create energy shields, and prepare traps. Ethan felt a surge of admiration. These beings, so different from humans, worked together with precision and dedication. But the human's ingenuity, his ingenuity, could add an unexpected advantage. He gathered Lyra near one of the central crystal nodes. "We'll need a combination," he said, pointing to the network of crystals. "You provide the energy flow, I guide it strategically. We can create barriers and redirect attacks where they can't hurt anyone." Lyra's eyes glowed brightly. She trusted him completely. "Yes, human." "Clever, strong," she whispered. The first wave of energy beings arrived sooner than expected. They crashed into the city's outer barriers with force, sending shock waves of light that rattled the towers. Citizens scrambled to reinforce defenses while Ethan and Lyra moved between nodes, adjusting the flow of energy. Sparks and pulses danced around them, lighting the plaza in brilliant patterns. Ethan felt a rush of adrenaline. This was what humans did best, facing danger head-on and thinking quickly. He guided Lyra's energy, amplifying the shields and creating traps for the attackers. One creature lunged at a crystal bridge, but Ethan redirected the energy flow, forming a barrier that sent it flying backward. Lyra clapped her hands, sending a pulse of calming light that stabilized the shaken citizens. The battle intensified. Waves of energy beings struck from all directions, using speed and cunning to test the city's defenses. Ethan realized that brute force alone would not work. He had to anticipate their movements, predict their attacks, and use strategy, something humans excelled at. He signaled to Lyra and pointed toward a narrow passage leading away from the city. "We can lure some of them into the trap," he said. "Guide them there and I'll block the exits." Lyra nodded, understanding immediately. Together, they drew several energy beings into the passage where concentrated crystal energy formed a cage, trapping the creatures without harming them. Ethan smiled. "Good work. That's what I call human strategy, and alien cooperation." Hours passed in a blur of light, energy, and strategy. Ethan moved tirelessly, combining human logic with Lyra's energy manipulation. Every time a creature breached one line of defense, another barrier rose. Every time an attack threatened the citizens, Ethan and Lyra countered with precision. At one point, a massive energy being broke through the outer defenses and surged toward the central plaza. Its body crackled with power, and its shadow stretched like a storm across the glowing ground. Ethan felt a jolt of fear, but he pushed it aside. Fear could not stop him. Humans thrived under pressure. Humans survived. "Lyra," he shouted. "Focus all your energy on that node, and I'll channel it with the crystals here. Together we can push it back," she nodded, her glow intensifying. Ethan guided the flow, directing energy with precise movements. The creature roared, a sound of pure power, but the combined force of human strategy and alien energy sent it flying backward. It crashed into a distant tower, dissipating into harmless sparks. The city cheered, but Ethan knew the fight was not over. More creatures approached, and the attack showed no signs of stopping. His mind raced, calculating angles, predicting movements, adjusting barriers. He realized something important. Humans could think in ways alien minds did not. Logic, improvisation, and courage combined could overcome even the most formidable threat. Lyra hovered beside him, her body glowing brighter than ever. "Human, amazing, brave," she said softly, her voice carrying through the plaza. Her admiration was clear, but it was more than that. She believed in him. She trusted him to lead, to protect, to act. Ethan felt a surge of determination. "We will protect your city," he said firmly. "No matter what." Together they coordinated the final defense. Ethan guided energy flows, creating channels that redirected the attackers away from the city and into safe containment areas. Lyra amplified the barriers, keeping citizens and buildings unharmed. Every move they made was precise, every decision crucial. Finally, the energy beings began to retreat. Their attacks slowed, their forms dissipating into harmless sparks. Ethan and Lyra exchanged a relieved glance. The city was safe for now, but Ethan knew this was only the beginning. Aurora Prime's predators were intelligent and persistent. There would be more challenges ahead. The citizens approached Ethan, their expressions full of admiration and gratitude. They had never seen a human before, and here was one who had risked his life to defend them. Ethan felt a profound sense of pride. Not arrogance, but a quiet satisfaction that humans could rise to challenges and make a real difference. One of the elders approached him, her glow soft and calm. "You protect her. Human," she said. "Your courage. Rare. Your heart. Strong." Ethan bowed slightly. "Thank you. I just did what anyone would do." The elder smiled faintly. "Not all. Would you?" "Special." Lyra moved closer, her hand resting gently on Ethan's arm. Her glow pulsed softly, a sign of gratitude and trust. "You helped?" "All of us," she said. "I thank you." Ethan nodded. "And you, Lyra? You were incredible. Brave, clever, and strong. You helped me help everyone. Together, we're unstoppable." She looked at him for a long moment, her glowing eyes filled with admiration, relief, and something deeper. Trust. Ethan felt it too. In this alien world, facing impossible odds, he had found a connection that transcended species. As the city recovered from the attack, Ethan and Lyra walked together through the plaza. Citizens were repairing the damage, their glowing hands shaping energy to restore buildings and bridges. Ethan realized something profound. Human courage, combined with alien ingenuity, could create miracles. That night, as the twin moons reflected off the crystal towers, Ethan sat beside Lyra. "You know," he said softly, "humans aren't just brave. We can adapt, think, and protect. And maybe, just maybe, we can make a difference wherever we go." Lyra's eyes glowed brighter. "Yes, human. Special, brave, beautiful." Ethan smiled, feeling warmth in his chest. "And you, Lyra, brave, clever, and beautiful too." They sat together in silence, watching the city glow under the twin moons. Outside, the distant shadows of the energy beings hinted that the battle was not over. But for now, the city was safe. For now, humans and aliens had stood together and prevailed. Ethan realized something even more important. This was only the beginning. The city of Aurora Prime glowed softly under the twin moons, its crystal towers shimmering like 1,000 stars. Ethan stood at the edge of the central plaza, watching as citizens repaired the last remnants of the battle. The energy beings had retreated, leaving the city safe, but the memory of their attack lingered like a shadow. Lyra hovered beside him, her luminous skin glowing with a gentle, comforting light. She had been by his side through everything, the storm, the first attack, the siege, and now the calm felt almost strange. Ethan looked at her and realized how much he had come to rely on her presence. "You, human, stay?" Lyra asked softly, her eyes searching his. Ethan shook his head gently. "I can't, Lyra, my mission. I need to return to Earth, but I will come back, I promise." Lyra's glow dimmed slightly, a sign of sadness. "You help us all," she whispered. "We trust human." Ethan smiled, placing a hand gently on hers. "And I trust you, Lyra. You've shown me courage, wisdom, and kindness beyond anything I imagined. You're incredible," she blinked, her eyes filling with a soft, tear-like glow. "You brave, beautiful, human," she said, her words trembling with emotion. Ethan's heart ached at the thought of leaving. He had come to study a planet, but he was leaving with something much more valuable, a friendship, a bond, and the knowledge that humans could make a difference in the universe. Before leaving, Lyra led him to the palace where the elders awaited. The largest elder, glowing softly with centuries of wisdom, stepped forward. "Human protector," she said slowly, her voice melodic. "You courage, rare heart, strong, your people may learn much from human." Ethan bowed respectfully. "Thank you. I only did what I thought was right. I hope humans can continue to learn and grow like your people have." The elder nodded. "Yes, but humans, brave, clever, special." Lyra handed Ethan a small crystalline pendant. It pulsed gently with a soft blue light. "For human," she said. "Symbol, friendship, trust, hope, keep, always." Ethan took it carefully, feeling warmth flow through him. The pendant was more than a gift. It was a promise, a bond between two worlds. He fastened it around his neck, feeling the weight of responsibility and the honor of being trusted by a civilization unlike any other. The time to leave came all too soon. Ethan walked to his ship, the twin moons reflecting off the polished surface. Lyra floated beside him, her glow brighter than ever. She extended her hand and he took it. Human. Thank you, she said softly, her voice carrying across the plaza. You brave? Beautiful. Ethan smiled, his eyes meeting hers. And you, Lyra. Brave, clever, and beautiful too. You've shown me what courage really means. I won't forget you or this world. As the ship lifted off, Ethan looked down at the city, glowing peacefully beneath the moons. He felt a deep sense of pride and hope. Humans had faced danger, adapted, and helped protect a world unlike their own. And in doing so, they had forged a connection that could last across the stars. Lyra waved as the ship rose higher, her glow radiating a gentle warmth that reached Ethan even through the glass. Human, return soon, she called, her voice a mixture of hope and longing. I will, Ethan promised, his voice firm. I'll return, and next time, we'll face whatever comes together. The journey back through the atmosphere was smoother than the landing. Ethan navigated the ship carefully, but his mind kept returning to Aurora Prime. The planet was alive, its beauty and danger intertwined. He thought of Lyra, of her people, of the courage they had shown, and he realized that humanity had a place in the stars, not just as explorers, but as protectors, allies, and friends. He activated the ship's communication device, sending a simple message back to Earth. Aurora Prime. First contact successful. Civilization intelligent, peaceful, and advanced. Human interaction positive. Potential for alliance high. Ethan leaned back in his seat, taking a deep breath. He had completed the mission, but more importantly, he had learned something vital. Humans were capable of courage, compassion, and brilliance beyond expectation. One human could make a difference. One human could change the fate of an entire world. The pendant around his neck glowed softly, a reminder of Lyra, the bond they had formed, and the promise of future adventures. Ethan smiled. He knew this was just the beginning. As the stars stretched endlessly before him, Ethan thought of the words he had said to Lyra. You're brave and beautiful. And he realized they applied to both of them. To humans and to the alien beings who had taught him so much about courage, trust, and hope. Aurora Prime faded into the distance, its twin suns now tiny points of light, but the memory of the planet, its people, and the lessons he had learned remained vivid in Ethan's mind. He knew that humanity's journey in the galaxy had only just begun, and somewhere across the vast expanse of space, Lyra looked up at the stars, feeling the warmth of the bond they had forged. She whispered softly, almost to herself, Thank you, human. Ethan smiled, the words echoing in his mind. They were more than thanks. They were proof that courage, friendship, and beauty could transcend worlds. As Earth grew closer on the ship's sensors, Ethan knew that he would carry Aurora Prime with him forever. Its lessons, its wonders, and its people would inspire humanity to be braver, kinder, and more united. Humans could face the impossible, overcome challenges, and build connections that would last across the stars. And he also knew one other thing clear in his heart. Sometimes, the bravest humans were those who dared to reach out, to trust, and to believe in the beauty of others, no matter how different or alien they seemed. Ethan's ship touched Earth's atmosphere, the familiar blue sky and green landscapes welcoming him back. He felt the weight of the universe behind him, but also the pride of what he had accomplished. He had seen the bravery and beauty of another world, and he had proven the same within himself. The future awaited. New worlds, new dangers, new friendships, and Ethan Cole, human explorer, protector, and friend, was ready. For humans were brave. Humans were clever. Humans were kind, and sometimes humans could be the light in the darkest corners of the universe.